Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to a brand new F1 2017 career mode video for you guys today here on my channel. Today we are here for the Russian Grand Prix, and as you can see, we're starting things off by having a look at the R&D tree. And as you can see, we are now just 200 resource points off the ultimate fuel technology efficiency upgrades, which I definitely want to do as it is really going to help out with the fuel efficiency performances. And then eventually I'm going to try and do the engine upgrades that I did with the Mercedes team. Now, I did the major upgrade. It's in the very top there on the engine chart, which sort of loops over to the ICE. Hopefully I can try and get those upgrades in on the engine and then try and do other stuff around. So that's my plan. But without further ado, we get straight into the Russian Grand Prix, get the practice programs going here, and as you can see then, coming into the last corner, a little bit scrappy, I'd say, in the last corner. I thought I nearly cut the corner there, so I had to sort of adjust my line in order to try and actually take the proper track racing line there. But around the last corner here then for the tyre wear test, and as you can see, we're off to a very positive start here. But this is the first track where we have got some really high-speed circuit, basically. This is where I'm really going to be tested in terms of the Red Bull's overall speed, because of course the Mercedes-Benz has got a big upgrade to the engine, and we're nowhere near the Mercedes-Benz in terms of the engine performance, and we won't be till around about the British Grand Prix, and that's obviously going to affect us on the high-speed circuit, so we need to start working on that. But as you can see now, we're trying to get all the practice points in, and we did a very solid job. I believe we did really well in practice, and I didn't think it could go any better. So, and that means now going towards qualifying, we're very confident heading into this session now, as we need to qualify 5th or above and beat Kimi Raikkonen in order to claim the pole position, well, in order to claim our objectives. And as you can see, there's a look at the graph just very briefly. And we do now have enough resource points to go ahead and claim this massive upgrade, which will come for the British Grand Prix. Now, this isn't actually going to do a lot to the engine power itself, but it's just going to rocket the car up in terms of powertrain performance. That's exactly what we need to be doing. Now, something that I didn't do for the Bahrain Grand Prix is I didn't actually change my engine elements. How I'm running the engine elements this season is element component number 1 I'm using for practice only. Element number 2, 3 and 4 are for qualifying and the races. And I just accidentally used power unit 1 for the Bahrain Grand Prix the whole weekend. So it set that back a little bit, but it's fine. We can work on that. In towards Q1 then, we're 1.1 seconds off the pace, and that's quite a worrying sign, showing that we're nowhere near the pace of the Mercedes-Benz. Obviously, with so many long straights, we're just not there yet, and this is quite a worrying sign that we need to try and address. But into Q2 then, we're coming around now to the second to last corner, and now to the final corner. I don't believe this is a very strong lap at all, but we'll have to see where it gets us then as we come across the line now, and it's going to be P4, so it's actually a decent qualifying lap. So we've beaten either a Mercedes or a Ferrari on the qualifying run. And who do we beat? We beat Sebastian Vettel, but crucially we got out-qualified by Valtteri Bottas, who's on a set of super soft tyres, which is very worrying. So yeah, we don't really have a lot of pace around here today, but we'll just have to give it absolutely everything in Q3 to try and wrestle this car. And into Q3 we come now, into the second to last corner for the first time. Ocon sets the fastest lap of this qualifying session so far. Bottas beats it, and we come across the line there to set, I believe, that is P3. That is a stunning qualifying session here today. I couldn't get any more out of the car than that, but Ocon got the fastest lap, and then all of a sudden, 4 other drivers beat Ocon's time, even though I was the only one coming around. Maybe there was some people behind me that hadn't set a lap, but yeah, I thought Ocon was about to get pole position then, but he didn't. So yeah, we'll have to leave it as it is. But we're going to be starting in P3 for today's race. And also, we now managed to beat Kimi Raikkonen in the driver rivalry, which is very nice indeed. And as you can see, points coming in. And now we're going to listen to the voicemail and see where we're at in terms of our race goals. It's probably going to be the same as usual to finish like in the top 4. And then also, top 5 actually. And place 3rd in the championship table after the Grand Prix. Which I believe even if we did, no, I don't think we've got enough for a DNF points victory in terms of the points over the other drivers. I'm not actually 100% sure, but having a look then at the starting grid, it is an all-Mercedes front row lockout with Bottas on pole position here ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Myself then in the Red Bull in 3rd, only half a second behind, which is very encouraging. Kimi Raikkonen in 4th, Ocon and Perez lining up next. Vettel with a very poor qualifying, only down in P7 there, which is a bit frustrating. My teammate Ricciardo only in 9th, so unfortunately, my teammate Ricciardo is not really doing that well this season. I seem to be dragging this car a lot higher up the grid than it should be, whereas Daniel seems to be doing a lot of different things with his car as Hulkenberg. Yet again, another driver taking a penalty here today, and he takes a drop to the back of the grid, which is a bit frustrating, but what can you do? Looking then at the race strategy, it's going to be a one-stop. The Russian Grand Prix is so known for having literally next to no tyre wear at all. So it's going to be a very simple one-stop here today. We don't need to look after the tyres. And as you can see then, onto the grid now here for this Russian Grand Prix. And we're getting ready to go now. As you can see, the formation lap begins. Now we can get ready to start this race. And here we go then onto the grid here. We've got 3, 4, now 5 red lights here to start the Russian Grand Prix, and it's lights out. We go here to start the Russian Grand Prix. It's been a very bad start from us. A lot of wheel spin on the start line there, which is quite unusual because I had the car in lead mixture, probably had a little bit too many revs on. And as you can see now, Bottas and Hamilton going side by side towards turn 2. We just have to follow in the slipstream now. Can we make a move here in towards turn 1? I go for it, just like a Ricciardo, but I've completely cut the corner. I lift off, give the places back to Bottas and Hamilton. Under pressure as Raikkonen makes contact with the rear of the car. Bottas holds off Lewis Hamilton there for the time being, and I accidentally pressed the wrong button as we come now into turn 4, and Hamilton leads, Bottas leads Hamilton, who leads by self. Raikkonen next up behind. Valtteri Bottas sets the fastest lap of the race so far on the end of lap 1, the start of lap 2 here, but we're coming under pressure now from Kimi Raikkonen, as already the power unit is costing us that badly here, because Kimi Raikkonen now is coming towards us. He's not even got DRS at this rate. He's going to go side by side, but into turn 1 or turn 2 this time, we just about hold it. But once again, having a lot of problems with turn 2, just can't quite get the car slowed down in time. The braking is not on, and at the moment it's costing me quite badly. 2 crucial mistakes where we could have passed both Mercs for the lead, and now we're under pressure again from Kimi Raikkonen here. He's coming back for yet another attack now. Here comes Kimi Raikkonen. He's going to have the outside line in towards this hairpin. It's a purple middle sector, and down the inside here, we're going to defend against Kimi Raikkonen, shut the door completely, and that is us safely in 3rd place for the time being. But the more that we scrap with Kimi Raikkonen, the more time that we're going to lose to Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton behind, as the DRS has now been enabled, and this is the worrying point here, as Kimi Raikkonen now is starting to get very close, and here he comes now for yet another attack. Here comes Raikkonen, DRS enabled. He's going to go absolutely flying past us now, but in towards turn 2. Can we get the car slowed down this time? No, we're still struggling on that corner. It's something's not right with that corner. We're just having a lot of problems with braking, and I was feeling it around the whole track. I think I genuinely have got some kind of braking issue, because a lot of the times I was just running wide. I wasn't making any corners, and it was really quite concerning, and it's really putting us under pressure now. So early brake problems to start this race off, as Raikkonen now tries to get the move done. But again, we managed to fend off from Kimi Raikkonen. We're getting very lucky at the moment that in one sense, because our brakes aren't really working, we're just holding off on that front. But anyway, on to lap 4 of the Grand Prix now. Crucially, we're closing up to Bottas, who's actually been overtaken by Hamilton, and we've got DRS, but annoyingly, Raikkonen is still there. He is still causing us massive problems, and I just don't need Raikkonen there. If Raikkonen wasn't too busy fighting with us, I probably could get onto the back of Bottas, but annoyingly, Raikkonen is just getting on my nerves, and I can't quite keep up with the 2 Mercedes drivers. And on to lap 10 of the Grand Prix now. I've decided to come in for a very early pit stop here. I don't think it's early, actually. No, it's my pit window. I'm a bit silly. But after the dramas of the first race, I started to have a little mess around with the brake biases and tried to change a lot of things with the braking, and luckily things were starting to get back to normal. However, it is costing me badly, because I do believe now I don't have any more warnings for corner cutting. I've had 2 already. Now, the maximum corner cutting warnings that you're allowed in F1 2017 is 3. So you have 2 warnings, and then on your 3rd strike, you get a 3-second time penalty. By lap 5, I'd already had 2 corner cutting warnings. Luckily, those 2 into turn 2 that I had on Kimi Raikkonen didn't count, and also the one on Lewis Hamilton and Bottas at the start. But I already have had 2 corner cutting warnings, which is a very big problem. Not because I'm genuinely purposely cutting the corners, it's just because of the lack of braking that I'm getting from this Red Bull car. There has been something wrong, but luckily we seem to have kind of sorted it now. I've had to change a few things, but as you can see, then we're going to go down the inside here of Sebastian Vettel, making the move stick there, who I don't believe has actually made a stop yet. And then further on onto that lap, we close up to Hulkenberg now, and we're going to make a move on Nico, as you can see, swooping around the outside, taking a nice, good overtake there, and that's us up into P10. Bottas in front on soft tyres, so Bottas doing a very weird strategy here today. But now, on to lap 14 of the Grand Prix, we're catching up to Stroll and Grosjean here. So the two of them going hammer and tongs. And you can see them now here. Stroll on the outside into turn 3. Grosjean's going to hold this one. Stroll going to keep it there, though. Lovely overtaking, lovely fighting. But if you don't mind me, lads, I'll take both of you. And there we go, up into P3. Now back into the podium places. And now it's going to be that drive to the finish line. And we seem to have built a gap on Kimi Raikkonen, which is quite crucial there. But anyway, then, on to lap 24 now of this Russian Grand Prix. And the race has calmed down dramatically after its very crazy start to the Grand Prix. Lance Stroll is out of the race. Kimi Raikkonen is now closing the gap. He's been held up in traffic for pretty much the entire race after the pit stops. But for me, that's not really a problem. But on to lap 27 of the Grand Prix now. Lewis Hamilton has won the Russian Grand Prix. He's won it by an absolute mile on me. And you can see it's going to be the first Mercedes 1-2 of the season. And unfortunately for us, we're just going to basically be in a stalemate. We're not going to finish any higher than when we started. We're not going to finish any lower than we started. But as you can see then, second to last corner. And as you can see there, now coming towards the final corner now. And as you can see, we're going to wrap up the podium here. So that's pretty nice. I'll take that. But unfortunately, I really wasn't happy with today's performances. I was compromised by the braking problems, definitely. And I don't want to bring it as an excuse, but because the braking was so bad, I wasn't braking late. I was braking where I always brake, and I was doing the same braking points as I did in practice and in qualifying, and they were fine. In the race, really didn't work out for me, and because I got those 2 early corner cutting warnings because of the braking problems that I had, it meant that I had to be very, very cautious not to get another warning, because I had to do 20 laps with like no corner cutting or no exceeding track limits. And throughout the entire Grand Prix weekend or Grand Prix race, you don't see it, but I always get at least 2 warnings for exceeding track limits or corner cutting. And because of the braking problems, it meant I had to be very, very cautious. And I just felt like I couldn't attack as much because I was wary of the penalty that could come my way. And of course, if I had that penalty, it probably would have dropped me behind Vettel in 5th because he closed up as well. So yeah, I'm happy to get a podium, but this braking thing, need to have a look at it for the next race if I'm going to be able to challenge and basically attack more. But as you can see then, Hamilton wins the Grand Prix, Bottas in 2nd, myself in 3rd. And as you can see there, Lewis Hamilton finished nearly half a minute clear of myself in P3. So that's a really, really worrying sign. The first real power circuit, and we're half a minute behind the Mercedes cars. And that proves to me that we really need to step it up in the development this season. But in the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton is now our nearest rival. I believe he's 18 points clear, or 18 points behind us, sorry. Yeah, in the Championship, we are still top of the table. In the Constructors, Red Bull still holding our own, but Ferrari and Mercedes will eventually close that down, in which we really need to step up the development race. But we purchased an ultimate engine upgrade, and now we need to work on getting resource points for Spain and for Monaco to try and get yet another engine upgrade pulled in for maybe the Austrian or the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The Canadian Grand Prix is a track that I really do love. I don't really need an engine upgrade around Canada. I think I could probably win it with the Red Bull because it's such a strong track for me. But anyway, for everywhere else, we really need to step it up in all departments really. But at the moment, the powertrain is where it is at. That's where we really need to focus. But we have got one more event here, which is, I don't believe I selected it. So you'll see that in the next episode. But guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well. And I will see you guys next time. Take care all. Peace.